We're talking about energy now. Nigeria's mainstay is oil. So while Nigeria may have an increased revenue, but the issue of subsidy and importation of refined products obviously draws back the gains from that. We'll get to that, hopefully, if time would allow us. But let's get the thought of Dr. Engineer Derek. We're talking about accessibility, alternative energy. That's what everybody's talking about. The world is talking about renewables. We're still flaring gas, which is supposed to be potential to help us to gain on this. And we saw Mr. Tuposun talk about, the costs, the number of people who have been excluded from even accessing this.
You're right. I'm going to maybe throw a shocker to the audience. It might not be a shock to some of us here. Nigeria has the highest deposit of natural gas reserve in the whole of Africa. Nigeria has almost about 6 trillion standard cubic meters of gas under the ground. So, question of availability shouldn't be our problem in Nigeria. We have abundance of gas. I'm taking this towards the direction of energy for transportation. For a thriving economy, people need to move from A to B. Goods need to move from A to B. So we need to move people around. So if we tap into our gas reserves, experts have it that our gas reserves will last anywhere from above 10 decades to 30 decades, what we have in the ground. Nigeria being the highest in natural gas reserves is still not exploiting it for obvious reasons. Everyone is focused on petroleum. And that's why I applaud some of the initiatives of the current administration when it comes to energy initiatives. The compressed natural gas initiative is one of them. Previous administration started the Decade of Gas initiative. And also, the current administration is trying to ramp up domestic gas utilization. We haven't even, what we're dealing with now is what I could call associated gas, which means by the process of drilling crude oil, we come across gas and we capture it and try to do one or two things with it. We haven't even talked about non-associated gas. We're just going into the ground to drill to get gas out. If we begin to do that, availability will be least of our issues. Now, most experts gauge energy security with most of my colleagues have touched on that, with the 4 A's of energy security. Is this accessible? Is it acceptable to the people? Is it affordable? And is it available? We have all the resources in Nigeria to slam through these 4 A's. But there are many drawbacks. I'll go towards the compressed natural gas. With the new initiative from the federal government, compressed natural gas is the low-hanging fruit for transportation. We see the news coming out of the Middle East. Guess what's going to happen to crude oil and all the byproducts of crude oil? They might go way over the roof. Now, this is the time. If we begin to exploit these, government policies are boosting these sectors. There are lots of private investors going into the CNG. A company that I represent, we're beginning to churn out CNG vehicles. I stopped by today to fill up my work pickup truck with CNG just along Ilupeju, Mushi area. Okay, I paid 2,400 naira to fill up the tank, and it's affordable in today's context. So if we solve the availability issue with CNG, solve the affordability issue with CNG, let's begin to work on acceptance.
Do we have a problem with acceptance? Or is affordability and availability the discouraging factor?
I hear some backroom discussions on acceptance. People are a little bit skeptical when they hear gas. So I'm going to sit in the same vehicle with a gas cylinder. This is not happening. So that's acceptability. Okay? So when people hear that, they hear gas, they think about explosions, they think about fire. But compressed natural gas in its state, this is natural gas compressed to about 1% of its volume under normal atmospheric pressure, and is compressed to almost 250 bar, or 25 megapascal, if you will. So by its nature, it's almost immune to explosion, okay, or fire, because when it escapes into the atmosphere, it's already lighter than air, so it just dissipates, as opposed to liquid fuel that will come down and easily ignite. So the properties of, these are some of the awareness and education that needs to be given to the people for us to counter the acceptance issue. And the current committee on presidential initiative on compressed natural gas, I think they're doing a fantastic job trying to educate the people. I see the posters all around town. I see the campaigns all around town. And I guarantee, I want to believe in the next couple of months, years maybe, you know, there will be mass adoption of compressed natural gas as an energy source for the transportation industry. Egypt is doing it. Egypt doesn't have as much gas reserves as we do, but most vehicles on the road in Egypt are powered by compressed natural gas. So I can go on and on if you allow me, but
I know it's your area, yes.